Hey, what's going on, young lady? So who do we have here with us?
You have DUNDUN, also known as DUNDUN, Big Dun, Bugatti.
Dundrina May.
Yes, sir, DUNDUN.
All right, so tell me a little something about Dundrina May. What brings you to behind the mic?
Well, what brings me behind the mic is I'm about to start learning how to film. I mean, not film, but acting. And a little bit about me, like, shit wasn't easy. I had to go through some troubled times. I mean, hell, I'm still going through troubled times. I ain't at the top, but I'm going to get there eventually. But life growing up with me was not hard. I mean, was hard. It was very hard. Pretty much I took care of my brother at a time when my mom decided to get on her drug of choice. And, you know, when she got on her drug of choice, my pops was either overseas or somewhere not in position to be right with us. So everything kind of fell on me being the older sister, my little brother. I had to make sure we both eat.
So how old was you when you committed your first crime?
I was 21.
21. Now, I would have thought you would say about 13, but 21.
Yeah, 21. Well, actually, that's where, the 21 is where I went to prison on. Mm-hmm. If we date back, my first crime was when I was like probably 15, 16, 15, trespassing up there in Georgia, playing around entirely too much.
So you're playing around, or was it like the trespassing was like you was trying to get something?
So actually, my cousin was like, "Hey, come with me to this house," and I walked with him because you know when your family asks you to do something, you fucking with them. Mm-hmm. You feel me? You gonna walk with them. So we in our neighborhood in Gwinnett County. And we walking, he take me to this house. Now, the house looked tore up. I ain't gonna even lie. You know how they be having the mildew and all that stuff on the outside mm-hmm. of the house. So I was like, oh, he done found us. You know, we young kids, a smoking pot. We finna hang out, throw a little house party. Nah. We walked up into this house and, like, he opened up the front door. So I'm like, he been here before. You feel me? He know what's going on. So I walk up in the house, the first thing I see is, first of all, it's mildew throughout the house. But it's lottery tickets. And I'm talking about whoever stayed in this house was playing the lotto like crazy.
The reason why I got run down.
That bitch had so many tickets in there. That bitch was just looking like you could just sit on them. It was tickets everywhere. Old furniture, old computers, old motors, old furniture. They left the bed and everything would just run down. And as we in there looking around, I just see some lights from the outside come in because it's dark outside. And I'm like, what the fuck going on? And we hear Gwinnett County Police, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, what the fuck finna go on? So I end up going out the back door. But as I was going out the back door, I seen that it was two more back there. And I was like, it's over with. First of all, y'all, I was fat as hell. So running was out the option. Like, they were going to catch me off rip. Like, I'm not running. So they came in through the front. Two came in through the back. Took us to jail. Gwinnett County. That was my first charge. Trespassing.
So, was that... Did it change your mind frame? Or did it make you do more crimes?
I actually did more crimes after that. Actually, I did quite a few.
So detail, if you don't mind.
Well, one of the things was we had this little gig where we would be selling something online, and we'll meet the person. We'll meet them at whatever's convenient for them. So most of the time, the people in Georgia was choosing like Dollar Generals, Family Dollar, Walmart. So we'll meet them up there, and we'll act like we had a product or whatever we were selling at the time. And as soon as we seen the money, man, we snatch and book. And somebody at the corner waiting in the car, so all we got to do is pull out, boom, going down the street, out of there. That was one of the crimes we was doing in Georgia. The other one, which kind of landed me in prison when I turned 21. So, call ourselves selling some TVs on Craigslist for about like $500 probably. This one, flat screen TVs was really popping out. So if you ain't had no flat screen TV, you weren't talking about nothing. So 2012, flat screen TVs in the play. And we meeting people, like I said, in whatever's convenient for them. We'll have our routes on how we was going to do it. And as soon as people meet us, We show them the TV. They pull out their money, and like I said, we out of there. Well, a year later, one of my cousins caught a charge and implemented me in it. And just because my car was used, that's how I got tied into that robbery. TVs, stands, bed equipment, and they'll come up to us. We'll show them the product, and when we see they got the money, whatever they hold it in their hand at that time, whether it be the keys to their car, their wallet.
So where y'all putting the merchandise at? Like what website y'all had?
Craigslist.
Oh, okay.
Craigslist. And Craigslist was jumping back then. You know, you could sell a lot of stuff on Craigslist back in that time, and it really will pull you through. So that's what we was doing. Shoot, I mean, like, you think about it, you getting 500 and more with each time you do it. You keep going. Shit, that 500, it's just us two that break that down. We got a wallet. We know how to scratch the debt. You know what I'm saying? We knew what, at that time, shit was easier to get by in the system. So, along with that robbery, she ended up doing another robbery. And the police, like I said, they was doing the robbery in my car. Now, after they did the robbery in my car, the police came to the school. I was going to Virginia College, and that shit was so crazy because I get to Virginia College, and there's like 4 police trucks, big ass trucks, and I'm like, what the fuck they doing up here? Like, what the fuck is really going on? So I'm walking into class, everything normal. I actually had some lean. I was drinking lean at the time in a cup, in a bottle. And I'm sitting in class with Miss Williams' class. I was going to school to be a massage therapist. So I'm in class, and I see the officers. They keep walking by the room, and it's like a door, and it's got like a window in the middle. You know how doors be having them. So I keep seeing the officer. You know when you keep seeing the officer, you be like, now I'm getting nervous. I'm like, okay, I know I ain't supposed to be driving. My tag expired. I know they ain't up here for that. So what's really going on? They come in the class that I'm in, and they was like, we're looking for a Dondrina May, and I'm like, oh my God. The fuck do they want with me? And I go with them, and they take me downtown, and they telling me all this stuff that I've been pointed out from a robbery. We done robbed these people and all this other stuff, and I'm like, nah, that ain't me. That ain't got. I don't know what you're talking about. So either way it go, I end up going to jail. In the process of jail, being at Montgomery County Jail, I was on B side. In the B pod, and that shit was kind of hectic. It does take a tear on you being in jail, prison, anything being behind walls to where somebody else is controlling you, telling you what to do. That does make you look at life a whole lot different. And for the people that keep going back, I don't understand. Like one time there was a lady that came back there 29 times. Her name was Miss. We called her Crystal. She was a short white lady, probably about that tall. She always wore a split in her head where her hair dropped down like a mushroom. See how this woman kept coming back. Like, to give you the description of how this lady looked. Like I said, she was about this tall. She wore a split in her head. And you know how white folks had that drop and that mud curl. She had like a mushroom top hairstyle. And her lips were real small, so she was like this all the time. And she'll just be coming back all chipper, high as hell, just chipper. I be like, this lady, why the fuck she keep coming back up in this folk county? What the hell is going on with this lady? So, being in there, like I said, it's hard. You see repetitive people. You see crazy people. I done met a lady, I think they call her Miss Mahim. I don't even remember. It started with a Matt or something. But she was dark-skinned with dreads. And you can tell this lady was completely out her mind. Like,
what year this was?
This was 2012. Okay. March 2012. By this time, it's probably like December. I done been in there since March, so it's December now. It's around Christmas. I'll never forget this. I'm in the county jail, and it's in the middle of the morning, and they bringing this lady in, and she's screaming. Off rip, just, ah! And I'm like, what the fuck going on? So now all of us, we all in our pod. They done cut the lights on. We looking at this lady, and first of all, they be putting folks in these big-ass jumpers. And if you small as fuck, like extra large and low, they put like a 4X, 6X jump on you, and now you coming in all sagging, so you got to know she was crouching her middle part, holding her thing like this, you feel me? Her dreads was like long, thick. They were matted together. She had leaves and shells and shit all in her hair. And she was like, shut this motherfucker down. Just going crazy. I was like, oh, this bitch crazy. So, we had this lick where we would go meet people, whatever they feel comfortable. Just dropping off stuff. TVs, stands, bed equipment. And they'll come up to us, we'll show them the product. And when we see they got the money, whatever they holding in their hand at that time, whether it be the keys to their car, their wallet.
So where y'all putting the merchandise at? Like what website y'all
So, Craigslist.
Oh, okay.
Craigslist. And Craigslist was jumping back then. You know, you could sell a lot of stuff on Craigslist back in that time. And it really will pull you through. So that's what we was doing. Shoot, I mean, like, you think about it, you getting 500 and more with each time you do it. You keep going. Shit, that 500, it's just us two that break that down. We got a wallet. We know how to scratch the debt. You know what I'm saying? We knew what, at that time, shit was easier to get by in the system. So, along with that robbery, she ended up doing another robbery. And the police, like I said, they was doing a robbery in my car. Now, after they did the robbery in my car, the police came to the school. I was going to Virginia College, and that shit was so crazy because I get to Virginia College, and there's like 4 police trucks, big ass trucks, and I'm like, what the fuck they doing up here? Like, what the fuck is really going on? So I'm walking into class, everything normal. I actually had some lean. I was drinking lean at the time in a cup, in a bottle, and I'm sitting in class with Miss Williams' class. I was going to school to be a massage therapist. So I'm in class and I see the officers. They keep walking by the room, and it's like a door, and it's got like a window in the middle. You know how doors be having them. So I keep seeing the officer. You know when you keep seeing the officer, you be like, now I'm getting nervous. I'm like, okay, I know I ain't supposed to be driving. My tag expired. I know they ain't up here for that. So what's really going on? And they come in the class that I'm in, and they was like, we're looking for a Dondrina May, and I'm like, oh my God, the fuck do they want with me? And I go with them, and they take me downtown, and they telling me all this stuff that I've been pointed out from a robbery. We done robbed these people and all this other stuff, and I'm like, nah, that ain't me. That ain't got. I don't know what you're talking about. So either way it go, I end up going to jail. In the process of jail, being at Montgomery County Jail, I was on B side in the B pod, and that shit was kind of hectic. It does take a tear on you being in jail, prison, anything being behind walls to where somebody else is controlling you, telling you what to do. That does make you look at life a whole lot different. And for the people that keep going back, I don't understand. Like one time there was a lady that came back there 29 times. Her name was Miss, we called her Crystal. She was a short white lady, probably about that tall. She always wear a split in her head where her hair dropped down like a mushroom. This lady's like, I shut this motherfucker down. And at this time, I didn't always look like this. I just started dressing like this 2021. Getting my hair done. And that's a story for another clip. You'll hold on to that because it trips out. But here I am in the county. I have dreads. And I had goals in my mouth. Well, I had goals, but I had to take them out due to the part I was going to get ready to go to prison. So I was being processed at the county. So I have these dreads. They like right here in this area. I still had the same face without the lashes, but I'm way bigger, probably around like 375 pounds big, and I'm like a stud. Now I was liking women, which I still love women to this day. Let's not get them misunderstood. But this is what I looked like back then, just to give y'all a mind frame. So this lady comes in and she's going to fuck off, and she goes upstairs to her room. They tell us to go back to bed, and all throughout the night, the morning, we're just hearing this lady go off, slamming shit on her bed, on her bunk, or on the door. So it's time for breakfast. Now, they come feed breakfast probably around like 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. And they come, we got to stand in line, they hand out some trays, and they give you your sack lunch right then because they're not coming back. It's over with. You're not getting the lunch. Your lunch is a plastic bag, for real, full of apple and probably a peanut butter jelly sandwich or a tuna sandwich. Disgust. But we in line at breakfast, and this lady, we all in line, and she's standing at the top of the steps, coming down, screaming. And we, looking like, what is wrong with this fucking lady? Like, this is a mental person. She don't need to be in here with us. Because clearly she is crazy. So, at the time, I guess, I don't know, they let her in with a diaper. And I'm like, because she didn't, now the jumper, you feel me? She don't even give a fuck no more. They got the button-up jumpers.
I know you lying.
She pulled a jumper off. She got a little shirt on underneath. And she pulls the diaper out, and she's rolling it up and coming down the steps. And I'm like, I ain't never seen this shit before. Like, this shit is unreal to me. I ain't know this shit go down like this in the county. This lady walking down the steps with a fucking diaper, like, that she pulled from that. What the fuck going on? So, she coming down the steps, and everybody at this time, we distraught, we disgusted, because it's doo-doo on there. Like, you feel me? What the fuck going on? So, she comes and throws it at the guard, and I'm like, oh, my God. This shit finna get real. I just want my sack lunch because I know I used to get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and they used to give me crackers, and I fuck with the crackers. It was some good crackers. I'm ready to get my lunch. I can't even get my goddamn breakfast. I can't get the lunch. The lady done threw the shit diaper all over the fucking place on the guards. We trying to get out the fucking way because clearly this lady has lost her fucking... She is out her mind. She is out her body. I don't know what drug she was on when they brought her in there. But it was controlling her to the T. When she started coming down, they ended up throwing her in the shower, y'all. And she ended up screaming like, talking about the devil is attacking her. And we got to help her get the devil off her. I'm like, hell no.
So young lady, so how was it like when you first, when the judge first told you your sentence and said you about to go to, prison, you guilty, what that feeling was?
Now, when Judge Price, goof ass, said, you got 12 plus 12 plus 12. When he said them words alone, I immediately went into my head and I was like, 12 plus 12, 24, 36. 36 motherfucking years. I was like, oh shit, this shit finna get real. I'm finna do 36 years. My heart, brother, my heart, it was a feeling that I can't. So, when Judge Price said 12 plus 12 plus 12 for conspiracy to commit armed robbery in the first degree, conspiracy to commit armed robbery in the first degree, and armed robbery in the first degree. I looked at my lawyer immediately, and the feeling inside me, I was like, damn, okay, I'm finna do 36 years. I was like, Judge, I asked the judge, he asked me, Judge Price said, is there anything you want to say? And y'all, I asked this man, can I just give my mama a hug? She was literally probably 15 steps away. And that man told me, what you can do is turn around and get ready to go back to that holding cell. And I was like, what? And so when I did get a chance to glance over and look at my mama, the feeling in my body, I can't even describe. It just feel like you lost someone. First of all, you go from seeing your mom or your family every day to not seeing them at all, hardly talking to them at all because, people have life, stuff is struggling. Now they got to struggle to make sure I'm straight in the county and going to prison. So the feeling I had was hurt. I felt betrayed because of how everything played out. I felt like this was the end. What am I going to do? What is my mom going to do? What is my family? I've put in so much stress on them. It's hard looking back and looking at your mom and seeing her crying Because she thinking 36 years like I'm thinking 36 years. You know how long 36 years is when you in 2012? This was 2012. 36 years? That's a long time.
So, how am I here with you right now? Because I know 36 years from 2012 ain't no 2022 or 23 or 4.
So, while I'm in prison, I did take classes. And then I've always tried to petition my time. You know, when you get in there, you meet some really kind of cool people. I can't lie. I started learning how to making roses out of papers and shit. Connecting them to pencils, it was wild. You know what I'm saying? I started drawing more and everything. But I remember back in 2015, and I had got a letter. It was like December. And it was that Judge Price had been removed, and I had another person over my case, or over my jurisdiction of my crime. And I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? What does that matter? When he left, a lot of stuff changed. And so, for some odd reason, they gave me 75 days earned good time for every 30 days served. So every 30 days I was doing in prison, I was getting an additional 75 days of good time, which they add to your sentence. And it's like you do your sentence, you're doing your whole time, but you got 75 days added and it's making it shorter. And I did not know nothing about that. So come February of 2016, I had got another letter saying that I was going to be getting released April 2nd, 2016. And I was like, hey, man, that countdown done went crazy. You go from not knowing, you know, it's not even not knowing. You go from knowing you finna do 12 years to and just to let y'all know that he ran all 12 years concurrent, consecutive, not concurrent. Basically meaning all of it at one time. Instead of 12 years here, 12 years here, 12 years there. That's consecutive. He ran them concurrently, which means he ran them all together. Made 3 12 years, 1 12 year. So, to get this letter stating that I'm finna get out in less than 6 to 8 days, like, that shit was crazy. You talking about going from, you forget what outside really smell like. You forget what your clothes smell like. You forget what your bed feel like. You forget pretty much everything. Food, brother, food. Man, when I seen that letter and seen I was finna get out, the first thing I thought about was my grandma's chicken. I was ready for some chicken and dumplings. I was ready for some collard greens. I was ready for some cornbread.
So recently, you seen that a little controversy on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram about an inmate in Alabama saying they treating him wrong, saying that he's emaciated, he's not eating, and stuff like that. How you feel? Like they said he's striking at the prisons now. How you feel about that?
That's right. In prison, when I was in there, they didn't give us no good food. And the food that they did give you, y'all, 2 ounces of this, 3 ounces of this, a patty, an apple. That ain't no food. The only way you going to eat for real is if you got money and you buying canteen or making stove. Or you selling something to get by, because that cafeteria food ain't what it is. And they ain't give us really no cleaning supplies to clean up. It was really nasty in there. And some of them officers is rude as fuck. Especially the males. They rude as fuck. I remember I had an officer, his name was Mr. Webster. He was in the Birmingham work release. He was a bitch. Like, he nitpicked at every female that was there over nonsense. Like, why are you wearing that shirt that way? Why is there a Rello? We had Rellos back then. Like, if you couldn't like get like the Newports on the stove, you'll buy the tops and some tobacco, and you'll make you a roll up. So I had a roll up behind my ear, and he made a whole big deal, wrote me up for insubordination, disrupting the peace and creating violence. I was like, for having a roll up behind my ear, I was like, man, you're tripping. He was really tripping.
Have you ever seen somebody got pregnant inside of jail? In prison?
No, not in the course of my time. I have not. But before I got there, I have heard of stories of girls getting pregnant from some of the officers in there. And I can see it being true. Especially when they doing count and some of the girls stay back in the showers. I mean, but you know, that's they business.
So what was the most dangerous thing that you ever got into in prison? Like, tell me a couple of your stories. I just need to know.
Dangerous? Birmingham work release. Man, we used to go crazy in Birmingham work release. It was from getting fucking liquor in that bed to weed, pills, phones. I remember one time Lieutenant Williams, bro, this lady right here is the definition of funny. She's funny as hell. She is like your grandma that be on you about everything. So one day I'm walking down the hallway and I got real money, and I was an inmate that couldn't have money. So I got some real money. I had a $5 bill, a $20 bill. I had $25, and I was getting ready to spend it on the cell phone because I had to do something. So I'm walking down the hallway, and the work release people just got off the van. They finna come in and get checked. So my position was to stand on the wall when they get ready to walk to the other side. When my person come through, whatever she got, I need to grab and go. Boom. So I'm walking, and for some odd reason, Lieutenant Williams was coming down the hallway, and I was like, damn, this ain't good. This ain't good. Them folks just got off the van. That girl gonna have to get caught with that motherfucking phone, because Lieutenant Williams do not play. She is a real live investigator. She was like the Inspector Gadget. She was on point with everything. And she said, Miss May, why you walking this way? I was like, I was finna go to the courtyard. She said, well, no, you need to go to the courtyard the other way. And I was like, okay, but can I go to the cafeteria real quick? She said, no, you can go to the courtyard the other way. And I was like, okay. She said, well, first let me just go ahead and shake you down. And I was like, what? Now I'm thinking, damn, I got the $25 on me. I'm finna get fucked up. Lieutenant Williams finna book it to my head. So she started with my shirt, and y'all had the money in my pocket. And I was a smooth criminal. You got to know I was. So when she told me to take off my top, I took off my top. She turned around. I got my hand in my pocket, and I bring the $25 up, y'all, and I put the $25 underneath my titty. She done already searched this area, you feel me? So it's over with. So she tell me to take off my bottoms, and I was trying to get a ticket out of my pocket. She like, no, don't touch no pockets. That's what I do. I'm searching you. I was like, oh, shit. So she go in the pocket. She pull out the ticket. And, you know, when somebody feel like they got some, they got some. So when she pulled out the ticket, she was trying to go through it. She looked at me. She said, you got something on you. I was like, man, Williams, I ain't got nothing on me. Take off your shoes. I was like, God damn. Took off my shoes. She made me take off my socks. I had to stand up. And, you know, when you go to prison, you get shaken down or they check you. You got to squat and cough. So I had to squat and cough in front of these fucking folks. I'm already motherfucking naked. She give me my clothes, told me to get dressed. I get dressed. Now I'm trying to make sure the fucking $25 don't slide out my motherfucking titty. Okay, so like I was saying, I'm trying to make sure the $25 don't slip out my titties. So I, go by the stairwell, and Lieutenant Williams had went on and walked off. Now, as the inmates are passing in, coming through, they got to go past the stairway. So I'm already in the stairwell naked. They already know I've been searched. So my homegirl come through there, throw me the phone. She throw me some spice. At that time, spice was a hot thing because they were drug testing that didn't pop up. So people was really doing that in prison. Shit, I did it until people start falling the fuck out on that shit. Then the nigga had to stop that shit because that shit got real. But she throw me this, the spice, the phone, some chargers, because chargers was really needed. And shit, I booked it. Had my clothes on, went straight to my dorm. I was in G dorm. That's exactly where I was.
So, when you was locked up, did you get in an altercation?
I got into an altercation at Talladega. And I don't remember this white girl name, but I got into an altercation with her. She told me she was going to beat my ass because I was whistling. And it was supposed to be early in the morning or something like that. So, you know, like I said, they wake us up around like 5 o'clock in Talladega for breakfast. So when we got up for breakfast, it's another story I'm going to have to tell you about Talladega too. So I'm walking down the steps and I see the girl get her tray and walk back to her room, her little dorm, her little cage. And I was like, no, what's that shit you said you was going to do? You said you was going to beat my ass. I want to see you do it. So the girl slammed her tray. By this time now, the guards is gone. She slammed her tray, come back out there. Yeah, bitch, you was out there doing all that motherfucking whistling. And I was like, whistling? You that mad about the whistling? So she was popping off at the mouth. And let me put y'all in the mindset of how the layout look. So there's two towers. There's a top tier and a bottom tier. You got to go up some steps to catch the second floor. So I'm standing on the steps. She, in the day room just talking. So I was like, man, you ain't talking about nothing. You ain't doing nothing. Blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. So I started walking back upstairs, and she come up behind me. And she come up the steps. So I'm like, oh, yeah, some action. So then I'm standing there, and I'm looking at her like this, y'all. And she's still doing all that talking. I said, man, you ain't talking about nothing. And when I turned, that bitch grabbed me by my dreads. Now, when she pulled me like this, I went on and came with my left hand. I usually don't hit with my left hand because I'm right-handed. So it kind of threw me off. But either way it go, I grabbed that girl. And when we fell, I made sure I fell on top of her. I told y'all I was big as fuck when I went into the prison. I'm not finna fall on me. So we fell on. She done grabbed me by my dreads and tried to pull me down the steps. Now, at this time, we like 8-10 steps up from the ground. So when she pulled my dreads, I came around with my left hand. I usually don't fight with my left hand because I'm right-handed. So when I hit her in her face, I grabbed her by her body and made sure she was on in front of me when we fall. Now, we done knocked over a tub of water and everything because they didn't bring us water. They had a cooler with water in it, and we had to. So she pulled my hair, and when she pulled my hair, we about 8-10 steps up. I turned around like this, and I grabbed her with my left. Well, I hit her with my left, grabbed her with my right, and I made sure I fall on her, so I won't hit the ground. When I fall on her, I'll be able to jump up and go ahead and start hitting her in her face. That didn't go like that though. So, but I did fall on her. But on the way down, we knocked over our water supply. Now, in Talladega County, they didn't come bring us water. We had to drink water out of a cooler. So, you know how you go to a cooler and you press the thing and the water come out? That's what we was drinking out of. They'll fill it up with ice and water, and that's what's our drinking water for the rest of the day. So, we hit that. We knocked that over, and I managed to get on top. I have a mark right here for where the girl bit me on my arm because I was holding her by her face, and I was hitting her like this, and her mouth was right here, and she bit me on my arm. The next thing you know, it was a lady named, I don't know what rank she is, but at that time, her name was Miss Nelson, or Sergeant Nelson. But she came in there with like 5 other people, ready to tase me in the fucking face, because I'm beating this white girl up. And then come to find out, I done made the girl had 25 seizures. They said I done put the girl in a seizure state. She having 25 seizures. They tried to charge me with another charge. And I'm like, the girl tried to goddamn snatch me off the fucking steps. Like, what the fuck going on here? But they ended up sending me to SED for that shit, and that shit was crazy. Now, the second thing I want to talk about that was fucking crazy in Talladega County, my homegirl, Mini-Me. So I was talking to this girl named Slim, Kristen, from Mobile. Now, we had this homegirl named Mini-Me. She was feisty. She had a little afro, and she was kind of skinny, but she was thick. But she was ready to fight at any given moment. That shit was crazy. And she was talking to this girl named Snoop. And Snoop was fucking around with another girl. So Mini-Me, which is my homegirl, She said, bitch, when they pop these gates in the morning, I'm finna come over there and slap the fuck out of you. Y'all, in the morning time, we had this whistling thing that I used to do that I took off shotters. It'd be like, and so I usually say that in the morning time. Man, before I could even whistle it, Mini-Me had already let us know, I'm up, yep, ready. I was like, oh, shit. So me and Slim, we heard him get dressed. When they popped the doors, that's when we supposed to go out and get breakfast, y'all. Remember I told you we supposed to get breakfast at 4 o'clock. So Mini-Me walked straight down there to old girl room. Heather, her name was Heather. That's the girl who she slapped about her sleep. So Mini-Me walked down there to Heather room, and all we hear is this loud ass, like a big ass, loud ass slap. You could tell this girl had pulled the cover back, and before the girl could say, what the fuck? She had to slap, and I believe she slapped her with her palm. Because by the time we got back down in her hand, her hand was still on the girl's face. And by this time, Heather trying to swing, but Mini-Me had her ass. Like, she was small and feisty, and she was fast. Like, she was tearing Heather ass up in that bit. That shit was crazy. That shit was wild.
So now, young lady, tell these people before you go, what is the baddest podcast in the state of Alabama right now?
Behind the mic.
Okay, you got a little voice you making being behind the mic, though.
Thank ya.